Welcome to Across the Desk and our new series in partnership with CASDA, the Canadian Autism Spectrum Disorders Alliance. This series is focused on the National Autism Strategy. We hope you'll join the conversation about how this strategy can help autistic Canadians have full and equitable access to the resources they need to live a full life. The time to have this conversation is now. Hello and welcome to Across the Desk. My name is Elizabeth Plouffe and I am the host of Across the Desk. And we're continuing our podcast series today in partnership with CASDA, which is the Canadian Autism Spectrum Disorders Alliance. But we have a very special session today, which I am extremely excited about. And today we are welcoming Deputy Grand Chief Walter Naveau to Across the Desk. And we are going to be discussing autism and the First Nations. So welcome, Deputy Grand Chief.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you for taking the time to contact me and that we can share some dialogue and to cross that bridge and to better understand us to the word us to what we talked about autism. So thank you. I'm honored to be here today.
It is my absolute honor to begin. We had a wonderful conversation 2 weeks ago and the opportunity to continue that. So we're going to begin today with land acknowledgement. And I'm coming to this podcast from Halton region. So I will do that on behalf of Halton region. Halton, as we know it today, is rich in history and modern traditions of many First Nations and the Métis. From the Anishinabe to the Attawandaron, and I'm going to say this wrong again, to the Haudenosaunee and the Métis, these lands surrounding the Great Lakes are steeped in Indigenous history. As we gather today on these treaty lands, we have the responsibility to honor and respect the four directions: land, waters, plants, and animals, ancestors that walked before us, and all the wonderful elements of creation that exist. We would like to acknowledge and thank the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation for sharing their traditional territories with us. And then Deputy Grand Chief, you were going to offer sort of an opening to this podcast series.
Well, to me, this is a great opportunity to bring our voice to the table or across the technology world, as we call it today. So it's very exciting because we are talking about something that's it's in our First Nations community, like I represent as Nishnawbe Aski Deputy Grand Chief Walter Naveau. I work for 49 communities, and within those communities, there are many children, some may be undiagnosed, diagnosed, or at loss to say, no one knows, because what is autism?
Excellent question.
And I think about the, say, for example, remoteness. Communities that are flying, how do they get accessibility to quality service, qualitative, to see doctors, to get diagnosed, and then yet you have someone that's say has autism. Mm-hmm. I can only imagine how hard it must be for a mom and dad to try to figure this out. Like, what does the child have? Why is he like this, or he or she? And I think that can really psychologically and emotionally really hurt a family because there's no answers. And to get answers, you have to go far away. And doctors, specialists, I don't think they all go into remote communities for certain diagnoses like autism. Excuse me, I have tinnitus.
It's all good.
I have tinnitus, and my hearing goes up and down, and that's old age, okay?
There's a lot of animals in the house as well, so between that and it's a busy house.
But to generalize, if we were to promote something like that, I think it would take a community effort and people like you, Elizabeth, to bring it to the forefront, to have a voice, because First Nations people, we can't do it ourselves. We need allies, we need friends, we need people from all over.
Absolutely.
We all have children, brown children with autism, like the sacred directions. Doesn't matter what color you are, we have the same sicknesses, the same illnesses. But unfortunately, there's some people out there that they have blinders, like a horse. They don't see, I call it tunnel vision, or maybe they're perhaps don't want to acknowledge it because of fear.
Yes.
I'll give you an example. When we were living in Saskatoon, my son John, like he's 6'6" now. He's an engineer.
Good boy.
But he would see people that were crippled on the street in wheelchairs.
Mm-hmm.
And people, my wife and I noticed it, avoid this individual or individual at times. But my son, he would always go up to them and hug them, total stranger. But we noticed there was some kind of a dialogue there. I don't know what it was. We didn't bother our son, but that person in a wheelchair would smile, you know.
You had a connection.
The human connection, so important. And my son, as he grew older, he was still like that.
Yeah.
And Creator gives us gifts. And we all have gifts. And now when I say, as a community, we all have our diversities.
Mm-hmm.
We all have our challenges. And we all have our heartbreaks. But we also have good days and bad days. But myself, I would rather say, let's all have good days. But that's not the way life is.
And that's why we have our communities to help us through those bad days.
Yes, if we could only use to speak from in our heart, to let our spirit lead us. So sometimes parents or dads have a hard time talking.
Mm-hmm.
I was at a workshop in one community up north last year before COVID. I was invited to speak. And upon completion my speaking, some of the older men called me outside, kind of whispered in my ears and said, "Could I talk to you?
Oh.
I hear what you say." But they were kind of whispering to me all alone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they say, "I don't know how to be a dad. I have 5 sons," they say. "I don't know how to be a dad. My sons tell me I am a good dad. My wife tells me I'm a good dad."
Mm-hmm.
And yet they're sad because something was taken away from them.
Yeah.
That ability to be that father. It could be the residential school, day school, 60 scope, etc.
Mm-hmm.
That has impacted us in many ways, in many forms, mind, body, the spiritual aspect. And now when you look at autism, I know we have in our community autistic.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hard on the community to see this young lad because no one knew.
Yeah.
And today I'm proud to say he's doing quite well. He's well-mannered.
This is your son, John, or this was another autistic Indigenous?
He's in excuse me, he's a member in our community.
Oh, okay. This is where it sort of began for you in understanding autism and yeah, okay.
Yep. And his grandfather told me, "You know what?" He says, you may be the chief. He says, "You're the only one that my grandson comes up to and says, 'Hey, you, chief.' Hey, you, chief." And you'll listen to him. You'll sit down, he said, and you'll talk with him. You know, he says, he really likes that. He says, Oz really likes that. You sit down and listen to him.
Yeah.
But he doesn't say, "Excuse me," just, "Hey, you, chief." You know, that meant a lot to me, that he's going to take the time to see me and come and see me if I'm busy by the shed doing tinkering or working on wood.
Yeah.
But I found, this young man, he has a gift to show people.
He does.
That not to be afraid of autism, not to be afraid to go the extra mile and say, what can I do to help you, Ozzy? Because they have bad days and good days.
Yeah.
And sometimes they go into silence or I'll say a little bit rebellious.
I'm going to give, sorry, go ahead.
That's why I say, in our way, I used to go for traditional doctoring out Western Saskatchewan. I would take my colors, my flags, or broadcloth 2 meters, and my tobacco, and I'd go see the healer, the medicine man. And I'd go in a lodge and I'd tell him why I'm there, the illness. And I would go there for healing. And I believe in our traditional ways. And it's very important that we incorporate those things. But it has to be by freedom of choice, because I will not force anyone to partake in a ceremony if they don't want to be there. That's what Creator gave us, gifts. We can participate if we want, or we can walk away if we want. No one will criticize you or condemn you, because the freedom is there. And that's why I find, if in a community as a holistic or a whole, that sacred wheel, mental illness is in there, family well-being is in there, choose life is in there, all those components that make us who we are as Anishinaabe, because where is the balance?
Yes. Well, that was interesting that you bring that up, because I was, so since the Deputy Grand Chief and I last spoke, and I'm remiss in doing something, so I have to correct this. I'm just going to give a little background on you, because we didn't really, I'm sure that people from First Nations who are listening know who you are, but we have other folks that are going to be listening that might not be as aware. So let's, in the interest of awareness and stories, I'm going to read a little bio, just so that we give some context on this. So Deputy Grand Chief grew up on the Matagame First Nation. He met his wife, Kathy, in Saskatchewan, and they've been married for 26 years. Well done.
32.
32. Oh, this is old. You need to update this. They have 7 children, John, Nokoni, and Tyler, a daughter, Sarah, and 3 adopted children, Fallon, Max, and Ethan. Now you're going to tell me you have more than 5 grandchildren. Uh-oh.
5.
5. Still 5. Okay. And 3 dogs and 2 cats.
Yeah.
So family plays an integral role in Walter's life, and he often says that he is blessed to see his children and grandchildren grow. And like any other parent or grandparent, Walter wants his children and grandchildren to be equal to all other citizens and to have the same opportunities afforded by others. And this ties into so that's Aries having a little chat in the background.
Yeah, we got a visitor there.
There you go. And so this ties into our conversation today around autism and community, because that's one of the things that First Nations is looking for, is to more opportunities for their autistic members. So the Deputy Grand Chief embarked on his journey of serving not only the people of Matagame, but also now the First Nations of the Nishnawbe Aski Nation. And you've gone to bat for the people in the Nishnawbe Aski Nation now since 2003. You have been working for your people, and in specifically agreements around employment and opportunities, and working on the inherent and treaty rights for the Matagame people. And we're going to go into this for a second, because you have a lot of responsibilities under this. So as Deputy Grand Chief, your focus is on social services, women and youth, and social development.
Yes.
Giving somebody a so in particular, Chiefs Committee on Children and Youth, Canadian Human Rights Tribunal, the Ontario Indigenous Child and Youth Strategy, Family Wellbeing Program, 60s Scoop, the Social Services Reform, ODSP, and the Federal Child Welfare Legislation. Pardon me. Women and Youth. You are a busy man. The NAN Women's Council, the Oshkotisak Council. Was that correct?
Mhm.
Close. Okay. Missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, family healing, First Nation Draw the Line campaign, life promotion strategy, men's healing initiative, choose life and sexual abuse strategy. Under community wellness, we have the victim response program. And, last but not least, social development with the crisis coordinator and mental health worker trainer program, homelessness strategy, Indigenous youth and community wellness, social emergency response protocol, and Indigenous youth treatment centers. Do you ever sleep?
No.
No. Okay. Just putting that out there because, wow.
No. Yes, I do. My wife told me to quit it. She will say, quit now.
You know what? People who are born to be of service don't rest easy. And it's, you can't, right? So in going back to that statement around access to opportunities and services, one of the things that we had discussed during our last conversation, you made a point that, we in the South don't understand. We can't understand, the barriers that are in place around geography and culture and topography. So the fly-in areas, accessing the services that are up there. And you said something that shocked me, which is, somebody flies in once a year.
Mhm.
And that blows my mind in a very bad way, that's what First Nations are facing, especially in the northern communities. So is that continuing?
Well,
It's
no,
only
I don't
once
think so. No, I don't think so. Maybe on COVID right now.
Yeah, well, nobody's going anywhere
But
on
I'd like to
COVID,
think we progressed because accessibility to those services are very difficult. I know for dental work, for example, they couldn't see dentists for 1 year,
yeah.
and that's one of them. But getting back to the autistic, I don't know how it works in the schools, how they interact, or they have special ed teachers to accommodate them to be, because there are many other illnesses we have in schools.
Mm-hmm.
And we have individuals that, how do you say, shadow them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So educational support. Yeah. My son, as I've shared with you, is also autistic, and he had an educational assistant just for the mornings and the afternoons, just to get him organized. And to your question about the schools, so there's a publication that comes out from the Chiefs of Ontario called it's called the Spec Ed Quarterly. And and it addresses the special education needs within First Nations. And there is a Ontario First Nations Special Education Working Group, which is focused on exactly these types of issues. For the Nishnawbe Aski Nation, it's Charity Calder, who's the representative on that education working group.
Mm-hmm.
And what they're working towards is absolutely incredible. I mean, this is a full support situation, which, from what you were telling me before, has really been missing up until now.
Yeah, it seems like we were on a back burner on many things, but all of a sudden, I will say through advocacy, getting firm footing on the ground, lobbying, and attainment of higher education has opened the doors to more transparency and lobbying the government for these services, because under the Mental Health Act, I believe we're entitled to the same quality, quantity of care, of service for those that have mental illnesses. I'll say again, autism.
Yeah.
But there seems to be a backlog of, is it too costly to fly down there? Or you have to go to Kingston, for example, or Thunder Bay or Timmins. Or I don't even know if they prescribe pills for autism or.
So autism itself, no. But sometimes it's, and autism is a very individual diagnosis. So, it's called a spectrum for a reason. And somebody said a long time ago, when you meet one person with autism, you meet one person with autism. So my son does take medication, but he takes it because he has another diagnosis of ADD, which, he's all over the place. He's like, a feather on a wind without it, which not a positive thing if you have to live with him 24/7. Grounding for him, not a thing. So as a rule, do people with autism get medicated? No, but some may choose because there's something else that comes up.
Yeah.
And you shared a really amazing story the last time we spoke that I have shared over and over again because it was so beautiful, which was the tradition of being in the longhouse and having that community. Not a meeting is not the right word, but families are able to bring their tobacco and their broadcloth and make their ask of the community to be a part of a healing circle.
Mhm.
Could you
Yes.
share that story? Because it was I was in tears. I mean, there's not too many guests that make me cry. In fact, Deputy Grand Chief is the first one, but it was such an incredible experience. I would be honored if you would share that story.
Okay. I also have a son too that has ADD.
Oh, isn't ADD fun?
Yes, give him a little bit of pop.
Oh, no, none of that. I have what's called ADOS, which is attention deficit shiny.
Okay. And I also have a son that I adopted
Yeah.
at 14 months. We went and picked him in Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
He's a product of a crack baby, so they had to wean him off.
Opioid baby. Yeah.
And he's normal now and doing the best that he can. And sometimes people are negligent and they don't realize the consumption of what they do can seriously hurt a child. And,
Yeah. That's a
but
separate.
that's why,
Yeah.
but that's why I went to that ceremony you talk about. It was on the island in Chigwenda. We took a whole bunch of us, my family, those that wanted to go.
Yep.
You have to wear the women have to wear their dress and they have to camp in one particular part and the men in one part. And the long lodge is about 24 feet long.
Wow. 20
feet wide. And it's a 4-day ceremony. Mm-hmm. And the one that was running it, I'll use his name. His name was Peter Ochis. At the time, he was 103 years old. And we went there. Mm-hmm. I brought my broadcloth. And they had all the pipes, about 7 pipes with the elders all sitting in the front. Mm-hmm. And the women on one side for balance, and the men on one side for balance. And it was all covered. They hang the broadcloth up high, doesn't touch the ground. Mm-hmm. And the runner, there's a sacred fire in the middle. He had split a poplar tree. And when they're going to light the pipes, he'll go poke at that ember and run it back to the ones that are going to light the pipes. And that's what he will do. But we bought our broadcloths for prayers. Mm-hmm. Each of us had our own unique way why we wanted to come there with prayers. I know why I gave mine. I was told to give it to Paul. He took all those broadcloths and got them all hung up. And my son was with me, and it was such a hot day. On the second day, he stopped complaining. He said, "Dad, I'm starting to understand what's going on. It's not hot anymore." He was more concerned about how hot he was. But in that process, when you start to figure it out why we were all there, we had invited all those of our families that were hurt or loss of loved one. We invited them to come be with us for those special days, for the song, for the dance, for the healing. Mm-hmm. And when it was closing, there's a song the man was singing. All those broadcloths that were hanging, there was so many people had prayers. Mm-hmm. And like we're away in a bush. It's a very private thing. And before the song was finished, they all had to be taken down and they couldn't touch the ground. And when that was done, we all had to go outside now. All of a sudden a mist came and the old man Peter, I remember he had a buffalo, like on his buffalo skull on his head, and he was covered in buffalo robe.
Mm-hmm.
Each and every one that was there participant had something to wear. My son also had a buffalo robe. But before it all happened, before we go around to say goodbye, let them go back to the spirit place, our ancestors, our loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
As he was singing, a mist came over him. If you want to see something so noble, there was this old man, 103, singing.
And drumming.
There was such peace and light around him. I didn't want it to end, Elizabeth.
I can
because
imagine.
I know where I was. People were crying. That was their happy place. But now we were saying goodbyes. Like my mom and dad, they passed away through isms, alcoholisms, and pills and whatnot. But I let them go back to their place. And it was so beautiful. And it was all over. We came home.
Mm-hmm.
And some people said that was the best ceremony ever. Now, can you imagine if we did that with young ones with autism? Because we have 2 sweat lodges there. And we all work together. Everyone, there's no power. We're all equal. We're all there to learn, to respect. And there's medicines out there. So that ceremony is only one of many ceremonies. Because sometimes they say autism is a gift
Mm-hmm.
to teach us, to look beyond, to look in ourselves.
Beyond
So
what we
that,
think we know.
yeah, because we don't know a heck of a lot when we think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And, old man, when he passed away, he was 113.
Can't complain about that ride.
He had asked John, do you think Peter will ever come to my community?
Mm-hmm.
Because I had heard of him. John said, I will ask. And out of the blue, he says, a couple of months later, he says, Peter's coming. What? Yes, he's coming to you. Now, I was nervous. Why did I call this old man down for anyway? So I kept going in the bush, putting tobacco down, praying, and sometimes crying, and putting food down, asking Creator, why did I call him? Then I know I have the answer. Now, when Peter came, I was happy. Our gym here in my community, Attawandaron, was filled to capacity. From the youngest to the oldest, not a chair was empty.
You're going to make me cry again. That's not nice. Okay, keep going.
Everybody was there. And you could have heard a pin drop. And then he said, John came to see me. He said, old man is ready to talk to you. But before, he said, you see everything you put on the floor there for everybody? I said, yeah. But you see that big feather? You turned it the wrong way. He said, you're telling everybody ceremony is over. Go back and turn it over. He whispered, okay. Now Peter was happy. Now he will talk to you. So I went with proper protocol. I took him to my tobacco. I said, Peter, thank you for coming. Why I ask you to come here? Now the tobacco between us. Why I ask you? I said, look at your hands and look at my hand. They're same color. And yet you and I don't know who I am. And look around me, all my people sitting here listening to you. We not know who we are. The language, the spirituality, the culture, the teachings. Who are we? I said, Peter, tell us. A smile came on his face and he took the tobacco. And by golly, did he ever tell us. And it was all done. We had a big supper for him. And he started to stand, and I was sitting on the floor with the rest, and he went like this. Everyone moved aside, and he came up to me, and he stood there. And he talked to me, and John said, you know, you're the only one in all of Canada he has ever personally asked to go live with him in Hinton so that he will teach you. I know, John, I said. What a privilege. I am honored.
Well, you had mentioned during our last conversation the importance of somebody understanding where they come from and somebody understanding their clan and their tribe and their nation and the importance of that connection. And you had said, understandably, that sometimes somebody with autism can't understand that. If you have somebody who is nonverbal or has a cognitive, right? And that's not everybody is the same. And
right. When
you said that, you had also described a ceremony like this one, which is what moved me to tears, because we don't have, like I'm British, we don't have anything like that to connect to our roots. And I had said to you, does it matter if somebody with autism understands their name or understands their connection? Is it enough that that family who participates in that beautiful healing ceremony you just described feels supported and seen and understood and engages in that exchange of energy and light with their community? And Walter's iPad has gone away. There you are. And that's what I find so incredibly powerful, is that not only do you have these incredible traditions that address, mind, body, and soul, but the respect of welcoming back your elders and grandparents who've passed on and bringing that energy in as well. And how that could be such a powerful partnership with Southern medicine or Southern, treatments or supports. And it's that partnership. You talked about how you and Peter joined hands, and you can see that partnership between the two of you. And I wondered if you would talk a little bit about how the First Nations traditions and medicines and understandings and relationship with the Creator could work together with, some Southern ideas to create a support for people who are autistic and their families more successfully. I'd be thrilled if we had half of the tradition and ceremonies that the First Nations have. Like we don't have that kind of access to that kind of incredible support.
Sometimes there's different way of doing things. When someone is sick or not well, we will go like proxy, I guess we'll use the word proxy, for that individual to go see Sweatman, healer, or woman healer. I used to build lodges for one woman from South Dakota, Vicky Eagle, and I built her lodges big, and people questioned why. She said, people come here with wheelchairs. Don't you want them to come in?
Wow.
So I used to build it big. But say, someone with autism, someone could say, well, I come here for my daughter. I come here for my son. I come here with the tobacco. I come here with the broadcloth, and I offer this to you. And you're going to talk to the grandmothers and the grandfathers when we have the sweat. And he's going to take it. He's going to ask you why. And you could say, well, it's for my son or my daughter with autism. I need the answers. And he will take that and present it to the grandmothers, grandfathers in that sacred place in the sweat lodge.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it's going to stay. And he will have his answers.
I think even knowing that you have your clan or your tribe or your community pulling for you and exchanging that energy with you is an incredibly powerful thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you had mentioned there was somebody within the community and their grandson, I believe, was struggling with autism. And I think you referred to her as auntie, I think. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but is that right? Maybe auntie? Maybe. Don't know. That's okay. But she came to, the other grandmothers and they came and they talked about it. And she was able to find some support by connecting with the community and just asking for help and having that conversation.
Yeah, it's important that when you can cross that bridge and extend your arms out and say, I need help, already you're on the right path.
Absolutely.
It's not easy. But then from there, those ones can give you information. Like, say, for example, I know a very powerful woman from another community. She tells me about the medicines. She tells me what to take. But she also took me under her wing. See, there's very good medicines out there, all kind of medicines. It's not synthetic. It's Creator's gift to us, and it's up to us to use them in a good way.
Yes.
But there's also the, I would say the Council of Elders, the knowledge keepers that gather the medicines. Like just a little while ago, my elder and I, we made some medicines for sore back. We had to get the yellow birch. It's for arthritis, sore back. We boiled it and we went long ways in a bush to get this special tree.
Yeah.
And it works.
Is it willow bark is for fever?
Birch. It's a yellow birch.
Yellow birch.
And there's also the 7 bark birch.
Mm-hmm.
I gave that to my auntie and one uncle, and they were taking blood pressure pills.
Mm-hmm.
They drank those 7 liters. They said, I never felt so good.
Well, and all of this. So, I mean, Deputy Grand Chief is mentioning traditional healing methods and traditional healing medicines, but those are all done under, the watchful eye of somebody who is an expert in this. And it's always worth exploring, especially if you are in First Nations and you have access to the Council of Elders and you have access to the grandmothers who know these traditional healing methods. I would just ask, please don't go out and try and do this on your own. These are just to be safe.
Because we cast, somebody look for that. That's the muskrat will show you which one is good.
Yeah.
But the other one you shouldn't touch.
Yeah. So have an expert if you're intrigued by this. If you are from the Nishnawbe Aski Nation or any First Nation and you're listening, please go to your traditional healers and talk to them about if there is anything there, because I would hate to have anybody end up in trouble.
A medicine man came to my community many years ago. I requested him.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people. And all of a sudden, he went to the back of his truck and he said, I have some special medicine here.
Mm-hmm.
And he got a little droplet and he put it in a capsule.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? He said, Walter, do you want to try it? Why, sure. I said, I'll take it. And I swallowed it.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? I said, oh, that's from the skunk, his gland.
What was that helping? I mean, I'm sure it did something, but
yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Kept your wife away? Like, I don't
After I swallowed it, he says to me, Oh yeah, I wanted to tell you something. Okay, now you tell me.
Yeah.
Exactly 8 hours. You're gonna burp. You're gonna cough in your pores. And if you even pass wind, he said, you're gonna smell like skunk for 8 hours.
Oh,
And
crazy.
our friends, they own a resort camp down the road.
Yeah.
Just so happened they invited us for supper, okay?
Oh, Deputy Grand Chief.
And we went there. We got there, and Les or Giselle, one of them says, Giselle said it, Les, I smell skunk. And you go around, yeah, me too. So they open a window. And
Turns out it
finally
was
I had to
Walter.
come clean. Well, guys, I got to tell you something. I took some skunk medicine. I said, now you tell us. I won't say what it's for, but when the elders found out in my community of Matagami, they told that young man that was watching all this, the medicine that I took, he said, we want to tell you something. That medicine Walter took way back in the day, when someone would visit our community here, they bought the best. They gave the best of what they had. And old George Naveau said, if they had this skunk medicine, that's what they gave them, the best.
I would never look at a skunk again the same way.
That little skunk, he has not just Pepe Le Pew, but he has a vital component
role
in him. Yes. So that's why I say, as my uncle that says, everything works together.
But that's where I was going to come back, is that's one of the really important things you mentioned was we need to build a relationship and a situation where First Nations feel comfortable bringing together their traditions and their healings and the things that they know and respect, and accessing like the Southern medicine or Southern specialists on autism, so that it's not one or the other, right? And we talked beforehand around Our Gifted Children Spec Ed Quarterly, and in it there's an Elders Corner. And Maggie Makiskan of the Araland First Nation submitted a paper. And so Deputy Grand Chief and I chatted about it beforehand. Her focus is on the importance of education, but she says something very powerful towards the end. So one of the questions she was asked was, how can we support and promote special education and its success in our First Nation territories? And her response is, as a community, we must embrace our students who need extra support for success, much like our autism community. Our teaching staff, principals, students, parents, and family members, our leadership needs to understand special education. We need to come together with each other to learn about the special education and to better understand the needs of our students. And she actually also addresses what you just mentioned about coming with open arms and asking for help when you're struggling. Everybody, I will share a story in a second, but everybody needs to have their arms open at some point in their life. And there's no shame in that. Asking for help is a strength, not a weakness. And Maggie Magaskan shares here, final thoughts. What advice would you give to someone that wants to achieve their educational goals? And this is where this ties this together. She says, good old hard work and get to school every day. Like I said, start liking school. All students have a favorite subject. Push yourself. If there is something wrong, everyone should come together as a team to fix it, which I think applies more broadly than just education. And her final statement here is, we as Nishnawbe people have to remember our teachings. If we remember these and balance the teachings and the support of our families, we can achieve anything. And I think that's one of the things I took away from our last conversation is, and I hope you would agree that, First Nations are looking for partnership, and they're looking for open arms to not only ask for help, but receive it. And it comes down to stories, and it comes down to conversations, and it comes down to listening. And at the beginning of our conversation, when you mentioned Peter, and you said we don't know ourselves. And I think all of our communities need to come to a place of understanding that we don't know what we don't know.
Mhm.
In the South, we don't have as good an understanding of First Nations traditions and teachings as we need to work with the First Nations and support, autism programming and families and what have you. And likewise, from what the research I've been doing, First Nations need support around understanding autism because this is relatively new to Indigenous peoples. And so it's that open arms. That's what we need to have, is this open arms and this clasping of hands so that we understand each other and create new stories and create stories that help each other and create
You're
stories
right.
that open a conversation.
You're so very right, Elizabeth,
Thank you.
because that chapter, I say, who's going to turn the pages?
Yep.
Where are the ones that are going to add and fill in the words for those that may not have the ability? That chapter on autism.
Mm-hmm.
It's there, but not yet finished, because we have to teach a nation. We have to teach ourselves. We have to teach the educators. We have to teach the chief and councils. And we have to teach the governments. This is not about money. This is about people.
It's about human beings
that have the same desires to walk with their back held high and to feel good about themselves, and do not shun them off to the side.
Absolutely.
Because all creation is a gift. I'll share with you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you have time.
For you, yes, I do.
Okay. Yeah, I only usually share like this. But since your name is Elizabeth.
You told me that was your mom's name.
Yes. Special person. I was the black sheep in the family.
Me too.
Yeah.
The outlier.
I put her through many hardships.
You probably made her very proud as well.
I think so, from up there.
It's all that matters.
And she told me one time, well, I wish you could find someone that loved you, that could love you. And I said, Mom, I did. And that's the only time in her whole life she ever said that to me.
Aw.
But I'm going to go back a few pages.
Okay.
Even prior to my becoming a chief for 5 terms straight. In my community, all I was a big drunk, a big alcoholic. Didn't have direction, didn't know direction. I was the most violent person, always in front of the judges. One of the most suicidal persons in my community. I have all the scars to prove it, bullet holes, OD'd, and you name it. Been there, done that. Sleep under the bridges, go eat somebody's old KFC that they throw in the garbage. That was my life, living on the streets, because I didn't know. But things can happen. Things can change. When I come home with my wife, they asked me to run for chief. I said, what the heck are these people talking about? They charged me, they tried to ban me from my community, and now they asked that I be chief. I said, okay, I will. And it was a landslide victory.
Mm-hmm.
And the next one was a landslide victory, as was the next one. I was so scared to be a chief, but I thought to myself, I have an opportunity to help people that have been where I was and to pull them out of the gutter, to help them to live life and to know there are people going to help them.
Give them hope.
Yes. And it worked. But I also took it upon myself to say, I called the elders in. I need you. I said, that you see that chair? I said, it's the chief's chair. No longer is it my chair. I said, it's your chair now. It belongs to you. You're the fabric of our community that holds us together. If I'm doing right, tell me. If I'm not doing good, tell me too. But I need you so much. We're going to talk about healing in the community. I need all the help I can get. And they were there. And it was hard and difficult. But by golly, I think we started to see change a little at a time. But I also said, we didn't get to be like this overnight, nor will it change overnight. In that process, I have dealt with many suicides in my community. Some young ones committed suicide. And then I thought, is this the job I inherited? Suicide people. So now I have a chance to work with autism. And I hope I can do a good job with the workers around me so that we can help families to better understand, and so that they need to understand they're not alone when they're dealing with autism. It should be up in front and center. Maybe there should be a day when NAN community can fly a flag that recognizes autism.
You can join us on National Autism Awareness. Autism acceptance is all of April. We would be honored.
I have a sister. I may have told you about Elizabeth. I'm 66. She's 65. They took her away from here when she was 2, maybe. She never come home. She got sick. They gave her penicillin and she had allergic to it and meningitis. And my sister has a mental capacity of a baby. She cannot talk. But in all the years that we're apart, I have brothers and sisters. But when she sees me, I don't know how this works, a smile comes on her face. And she will wrap her arms around me and kiss me and hold me. And she has her little teddy bear and shows me, that's my sister that I could not save.
You weren't meant to save her. You were meant to support her.
But all my life, I know just a child too, I think, oh, Jody, if there was a way we could have helped you, but we did not know. We did not know about practitioners. My mom didn't know. My father didn't know. Subsequently, she stayed in Smith Falls, different homes. And, you know, it's hard. My sister, I know, can't come home. I know she will come home eventually, but not in the way I'm figuring.
Yes.
But I still love her with all my heart.
But that's what she sees, Deputy Grand Chief. She sees your compassion and she sees your lessons learned. And she sees that you have taken the challenges that the Creator gave you to make you who you are now. If you hadn't gone through those things, if you hadn't been willing to learn who you are, then the openness with which you have these conversations and the heart that you bring to it around supporting, you know, your members with autism and the members across Canada and First Nations with autism, I don't know that you would have had the capacity to do that. But those lessons help you create space.
I believe you're right. I think you hit something right on the head there.
Sometimes I come out with some hard stuff. Not often, but sometimes.
Yeah, but I gotta, the children, they're a gift.
They are a gift.
And treated as such.
We are going to, because we've been talking for a while now. So, which always a pleasure. And I would love to do this again, but to bring it back around to what we've been discussing today, I have had the greatest honor of chatting with Deputy Grand Chief Walter Naveau, who is with the Nishnawbe Aski Nation and is a compassionate and passionate advocate for improving life for First Nation families who have autistic members. And CASDA, who is, you know, this podcast, is committed to improving life for all autistic Canadians. And that's where this is a beautiful coming together of, you know, your and Peter's hands and everybody reaching out their arms to ask and give help. is what I love about this opportunity to talk and learn with you and share stories. And I have great respect for how the First Nations community is so focused on healing and traditions and lessons, and how they can help ground us and get us through these tough times. And seeing, and listening to your story, tough times can create miracles and can create miraculous people. So, now is our time to create that new story, as you said, and add some pages. And part of that story is the First Nations voice, and part of that story is the people from the South's voice. And let's see if we can make a beautiful story that provides more support and respect for each other.
Yes. Let's all climb in the same canoe and be the navigators.
Oh, I like that. Plus, I love canoes. I love that. I think we'll paddle the canoe together. I like that idea. That is a fantastic analogy. So on that note, you have another story? I saw your face light up for a second.
No. All I wanted to say is thank you again for taking the time, for giving me this brief opportunity. All I look at is a heartbeat we talked about, because we cannot measure time, but the time we have together right now is very precious, because the one we're talking about, they're out there. And I would urge everyone, do your best what you can to look at them like the colors of the rainbow, all beautiful people. When you look at a flower, you want to pick it up. Same way with human beings.
Yep.
Same way with skunk.
I'm not sure you're going to bring me on board on that one, but
everything has a purpose.
Agreed.
And I believe you and I, we weren't put here for this. It's that parallel path I always call in the heavens. My wife and I, we talk about that, made us to come here to talk. And there's a reason for that.
I hope so.
And that's why we're here today, for autism. And I want to say to you, stay safe, stay well, beware of that COVID-19. And, it's devastating. And thank you, Elizabeth.
It's my honor, Deputy Grand Chief. You are a unique individual, and my respect for you grows every time we talk. And I am honored that you would share your experience and your knowledge with us. And I look forward, because I know we have more podcasts planned. So this is not our last conversation. And then I get to see, not Aries, your other dog. Khaleesi, yes. So Khaleesi will come on next time.
Yeah.
Aries came and gave good kisses before, so.
Yeah, she's the troublemaker. You might be my daughter's sneaky, and
hey. Now, what happens in the, we don't.
She's an instigator. She's an instigator, and she looks at you with innocent eyes. Not me. I didn't do anything.
Well, So what I'm going to do, we're going to wrap up and we're going to say goodbye. You're going to stay on. I'm going to end our recording, and then we're just going to say goodbye to everybody.
Okay.
So goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. You can visit CASDA.ca to learn more. You can also visit the Nishnawbe Aski Nation website, which I believe is NAN. I apologize. I have it down here. www.nan.ca to learn more about the Nishnawbe Aski Nation and what's happening there. There are some incredible resources on the Chiefs of Ontario website around, I actually just finished reading the Chiefs of Ontario annual report, which has some incredible information on the spec ed programs and other supports that are happening. There is a special education webinar series, the roles and responsibilities of educational assistants, weird and wonderful, using diversity to solve behavior. There's a whole incredible amount of resources that you can go to learn about what's happening with First Nations and the different supports that are available. And we will talk soon. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. And now you say goodbye.
Thank you, everyone. Till the next time we meet. And like I said, stay well, stay safe, and have a pleasant evening. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you for joining the conversation about the National Autism Strategy. CASDA is a comprehensive network of autistic Canadians and autism-focused organizations. Our members are united by the shared vision that a national autism strategy will create improvements in the lives of autistic people for generations to come. Please visit CASDA.ca to learn more and keep the conversation going.